Hey guys, and welcome to episode 1 of Building Big with Cities Skylines. I'm Enigmius, and today we're starting to build a city. And I'm really looking forward to it because we're building something, and it's going to be a city. Now, just to clarify, in case anyone's wondering, this isn't going to be replacing any of the existing footage series that we're going to be doing for Robocraft or Besiege. This is just a little bit more stable and a little bit more reliable in terms of things that we can build and, create a series out of. Whereas if I don't have a new build to show you in Robocraft or some match footage that we can discuss or something interesting that actually works in Besiege, kind of nothing to do. So this is going to give us that little thing that we can do to fill the gaps. And I couldn't think of something better to do than build a city, because we're always building something. We might as well do a city. Now, there's a lot to talk about in terms of the mechanics and our goals and what I would like to do. We're going to try and do it as we go, as opposed to just making you watch this for the next 10-15 minutes while I move the mouse cursor around infuriatingly. And that way we can kind of pass along the information and do things at the same time. Now, the first things to keep in mind is that this is a brand new city, so we have to work within the dotted lines. For those who aren't familiar with the game, we'll be able to expand as we progress, but for now we have to build in this area. All these roads are provided. They're basically access to other cities for trade and things like that, so we do have to connect everything via roads. So that's going to be the first thing that we do. And then we can think about utilities and making sure everything's going to work. Do a little bit of zoning and get our first people in here and paying taxes so we can afford to keep building. Now, this area here, I did a little bit of messing around right after I downloaded the game, just to get familiar with the mechanics and make sure that I had an idea, a small idea of what I was doing. And one of the things that I found out on this map, this is the lagoon something, that's the very bottom option on the maps, is that if you place your sewage outflow pipes around up in this corner here, the river just takes it all away, and it's fantastic. This area doesn't get polluted, and you don't have to worry about polluting your sandy beaches or anything like that. So it's going to be a good place for us to put the sewage outflow, and that means it's also not a bad place. We can start putting our industrial area in here for the early game, and then we'll go from there and build the residential over where it's nice and pretty and doesn't have so much poo coming out of the pipes everywhere. So first thing we want to do, and this is just the oddest thing, is we want to build a road. And what I want to build is a little roundabout, but it won't let me until I build a little road like this. And then it'll let me build a roundabout. It's a progression thing. You're not allowed to build a roundabout until you've built a plain old-fashioned 2-lane road. That's not at all what I wanted to do. I was trying to rotate it and then move it, and I wound up placing it in the worst possible spot, but at least we got it rotated the way I wanted it. And we want it a ways from there a little bit, and then we can come back here. We get rid of these spokes because we aren't going to be using that. We're more interested in just starting with a nice, pretty circle, and then we can right away upgrade to the big fat roundabout. It's 6 lanes one way going around this way, I think. Is it going around that way? It's really hard to tell because it's one big circle and it doesn't have any arrows that show you, but I think that's what we've got. And then we want to take the big fat... Do we have the one way? No, we don't. That's a 2-way. We might as well use the big fat ones. And we'll start from here, straight, and it won't let us do it. We just have to kind of negotiate a little bit here until we get to just the right spot where there we go. Let us connect. And now we can see the arrows when we get in here nice and close that show us which direction the one-way thing's going. And one of my goals is I want to reduce the number of intersections as much as I possibly can so that the traffic doesn't get jammed up at stoplights. So when traffic is driving around this roundabout, let's get rid of that, and it wants to get off and leave the city, it just kind of merges right and goes to the off-ramp. It's not even an off-ramp, it's just a thing, a bypass, whatever you want to call it, to get out of the roundabout. We don't have roundabouts in Canada, that's why I don't know all the terms. And then basically the same thing here, only this is for vehicles entering the city. And we want to make sure that we're kind of making it as much as an on-ramp kind of scenario as we can. Let's try it. Yeah, that seems okay. It's got some traffic lights, but we're not too worried about it because traffic lights and left-hand turns are what kill you. As long as it's not stopping traffic so that these guys can turn right. Actually, you know what? I think it will. I think it will. It'll stop traffic so that these guys can turn right. And we definitely do not want that. So we're going to try... I love how I could have sworn I had it on... Let's do it like this. We'll do like so, and then like so. It really doesn't want to. Yeah, that's not gonna work at all. Let's try it out this way. Really aggressive kind of shenanigan going on here. Too aggressive? I think it is. I think it's too aggressive. We'll dial it back a little bit. It's trying very hard to give me a scenario where it's going to put traffic lights. I think that's about as good as we're going to get it. We're going to keep an eye on it, and it's just a small little thing anyways, so if we don't like it, we can always change it later, but for now, that, that looks very strange. So we can switch this back. We're going to use one-way roads, actually, to come from the roundabout in sort of a off-ramp fashion. And we'll bring it around like so, I think. And then we'll stop that there. And we're going to want this to be... Oh, I guess we do have to kind of come around. Let's do like this. I know you're wondering, why am I spending so much time worrying about roads so early? And compared to other games that I've played where you kind of place a road and then you have to specifically set up the zones around it, this is more... why is that not going to do the thing that I want it to do? This is more, you can see it's already got the zones in place and we just have to designate what we want to zone there, like what kind of building permits we want to offer for those areas. And if the roads aren't kind of set up properly, after everything is zoned, you can't really move the roads too well without taking out everything around it with regards to the zoning. So I just want to be a little bit careful early on before we have an opportunity to make a tremendous mess. And we're going to wrap this guy around, sort of, a little bit. I don't want them too close because I also want to be able to do some sort of midway off-ramps and stuff so that when things start to grow, the traffic can be a little bit dynamic. They can change their mind what they want to do when they're moving around and make things work. And also kind of look, hopefully not too horrible. Space already occupied. Oh, shut up. Giving me like every possible error for that. And the last one. Oh, that could be it. That could be very strange looking. And it's, damn it, it's set up to be another intersection. It's got the lights there, but there's nothing we can do about that now without pulling our hair out over nothing. So we need, first of all, the sewage outflow before we forget, which you can see it's got the arrows that show where the water is flowing, and it's got a little bit of water flow around the outside edges, but as soon as you get towards the opening of the river here, the mouth of the river, it just goes, whoa, it's crazy. So all of the poo is going to exit the city from there. And as well, we need some hydropower. So to start with, we're going to put this guy close enough to this guy that they connect right off the bat. Not that it's super important, but it is kind of important. And then what else do we need? Oh, we need to start thinking about our residential stuff up this way. Yeah, let's create some more intersections. The intersections that I said we didn't want that are happening anyways. Not from a lack of trying, I should point out. And yes, I am using an awful lot of one-way roads, but I think the ends justify the means on this one. So we're going to start this one from here. And let's see if we can't do a little bit of crazy. We almost stabbed the tweeter bird up at the top of the screen. We stabbed him with a road. We'll put it like that. And I have to, whether I want to or not, we have to set this up so that people can come back and exit the city or go to the industrial areas eventually so that they can go to work. So what we're going to do is set it up like, not like that, like so. Is it another intersection? I think we got away with it this time. It looks like we did. That's fantastic. It looks more like a yield than a stop sign. And then this, of course, doesn't mean anything unless it's going to cycle back and no. Yeah, I guess we could do curved. Let's go like this and then... No, it's a little too aggressive. All this time, and all we've done is set up roads, basically. Go like that, and then like that. And we can fill in this area in here. It pretty much we're obligated to fill them in. Otherwise, we're going to have a very, very wonky setup. But now we've got the one-way roads that go around in a loop like that. So now we've got power, we've got sewage outflow, we need water, which we'll put our water tower right in the middle of the roundabout. In my early experimentations, I found that one of the most expensive startup costs is water and running pipes everywhere. So if I wanted clean water and pulled it from the river over here, it would cost way more than I really want to have going out of my coffers every week. So we're just going to start off with a simple water tower, and then we do have to connect it this way to the sewage outflow, which will also kind of connect to this industrial up here. So we might as well go like that, and then we'll just leave it for now. And we will run pipes from here in such a way that we get water coverage under all of our residential areas. And back to there, why not? And lastly, we will run power lines. Can we go that way? No. Space already occupied. Well, thanks. Let's do like so. And we'll tuck it in here. There. And lastly, let's paint some zones in here. So understanding that people are going to end up very unhappy with this, we'll leave that for commercial. People are going to end up very unhappy with this for all the changes we're going to have to make to get roads in this central area. But for now, it's not that big of a deal. We'll just kind of set this up here. Uh-oh. I did a bad... There we go. I didn't learn to paint in kindergarten. There we go. So now, for the first time, we could start the simulation. and hopefully watch our city grow. So we got fresh water. What does that mean? First power plant, hooray! So the poo pipe isn't really working yet, which is good. And here we go with people are building the first houses in the city that has yet to have a name. I think it's called Westdale is what the game assigned it, but realistically speaking, I think that's sort of up for change, given that we have the option. Upon further consideration, the traffic, despite the residential growth, is not the least bit interested in coming by to our fair city to see what we've got going on here. Lots of houses, low-density residential. They're unhappy. How's the building doing? They're not happy. 03 households, well-educated. Nobody lives here. That's why they're not happy. Well, if nobody lives there, how can they be unhappy? They don't live there. It's an empty house. Maybe people just walk into the house and feel sad. And now we're looking at the little graph on the bottom of the screen. We're starting to get a tiny bit of interest in some commercial and industrial zoning, but still high demand for residential that isn't being in any way handled. Oh, what's going on? Genetically manipulated corn. Okay. I wasn't really too concerned about that, but now we know. Let's speed it up a little bit because this is otherwise going to take a very long time. So we're already going $900 in the hole every week, but we're crawling out of that deficit a little bit as we add people. Oddly enough, I'm keeping you can tell, a very close eye on the traffic, and I'm not seeing any. It's not that the traffic is working well. It's that, oh, here we go. Look at these guys cruising along. There we go. So that's completely eliminated an entire left-hand turn. People are just cruising right along, going in, parking in front of their brand new houses. We're still showing a bit of a deficit, but now we've got demand for commercial and industrial. So we're going to start down here. We're going to zone some industrial. We don't have to zone it way far away. That should get us started, and we're just going to make sure for the time being that we've got some power lines for our new industrial zones. And I was a little concerned that it wasn't going to work. Here, I keep wanting to put commercial in here because you can see that it's got the little grids that you could zone stuff there, but then realistically, where would anyone park to get in there? I don't even think there's any crosswalks. Commercial, we're going to do in this part of the roundabout, we're going to have like the little corner store and that, and then we'll have some shops there. I don't care about parking. We'll have some shops here. It's the way the game works, it's all going to start off as gas stations anyway, so I'm not too worried about it, but this will be a good start. 3 7-Elevens and a liquor store. That's what every growing town needs. And what do we got going on down here? Already the big buildings. So the difficulty with the industrial is it uses a lot of power. So when you're using the little wind farms, we got poo. There we go. It even looks chunky. That's fantastic. What can you say? It's a valid concern when you're managing a city, but at least it's gray in this game. Oh, water. Did we did. We missed the water supply for these guys just a little bit. So I think what we can do so we'll just kind of... Space already occupied. No, it's not. We'll come around this way. And... we'll do like so. Of course it's already occupied, and I'm trying to make them join up. Okay. It didn't want to let me. That's another thing we'll have to update. We'll close that. So we're up to 273 citizens. We have a positive weekly income. And we've got a little bit of each kind of the basic zones. Oh, we're out of water here already. How can you not have water? Grab a bucket. The water tower's right there. Like, geez. What do you think your tax money is used for? Our traffic is... I wish these people would not park on the side of the road. But in terms of everything coming up daisies, so far so good. Next episode, we'll start expanding. We've got the basics in place. We're probably going to have to make some changes. But at least for now, we're off to a good start. So leave your comments and feedback. If you have ideas, if you have your own experience you'd like to share, feel free to leave that. And we'll just keep on keeping on and bring this and other content to you as soon as I have it available. So if you want to be notified when that is, of course, you can always subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on social media. Links for that are in the information section below the video. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.